Hi guys, Nicholas with the Doors here. This episode today is about the ladder of success and the steps that you and I can take to help accomplish your goals and understand about loving the process you're in to become the person that you want to be. It gets really real and you get to hear me yell at my dog once or twice, but it's important to realize that you understand where you are in life, the things that are going on, and staying and holding true to those things. And that's what this episode's all about. Thank you so much and enjoy. Hey guys, Nick here.
What's going on, y'all? Zach here,
We're just two guys trying to make the world a better place.
and welcome to the Doors.
Three, two, one. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The Doors. We're the developers of our own opportunities, reinforcing success. I'm Nicholas Sternloff.
I'm Zachary Otts.
And guys, it's time to open some doors today. Well, today's episode is an interesting one. We're going back to a little bit more of what we were previously doing, and we're bringing you the topic, the ladder of success. Zach, why don't you dive a little bit into that?
So I think it's important that we discuss what the ladder of success actually is. So most of the time, ambitious people, when they go along on this journey, they need to develop skills. They need to develop things to put into their toolbox so that they can grow, so that they can climb up this ladder of success. Um, and it's neat because this is something Nicholas and I have really
Yeah.
talked about because it's like each rung is a lesson or a skill that you need to learn for this ultimate purpose for accomplishing your goals to be successful. What's your take on that, Nick?
Well, I think the explanation of what you just said is completely correct. I think that at the end of the day, a really great way to put it too is that you have these you have these rungs on this ladder to try to get you to where you want to accomplish the goals that you have. But at the end of the day, just like Matthew McConaughey said, we have immortal finish lines. So you can set these goals, but the ladder never stops.
Yep,
It's the stairway to heaven.
it's
You
never.
have to realize that life is a never ending game of building who you are and your knowledge, your experience, so that you can become a better person. And that's the ultimate reason why there's that we're having this podcast right now is the ladder of success to get you to realize what actually it takes to take steps to gain knowledge, experience, and things you're doing, or to realize the goals that you set for yourself and how you can accomplish them to achieve the goals that you've set, like me wanting to become a public speaker. What are
Mhm.
the steps? What are the things that I need to do? How do I create this future that I envisioned?
I think the first thing, man, the very first step you always have to do is just take that first step. There's going to be a lot of uncertainty. There's going to be a lot of things that you don't know. There's going to be a lot of things that scare you, but you have to step on that other side of fear and just start doing it. Just take the step. Don't say it, just do it.
Well, I agree completely. And one of the things that stands around, I think, in society today, based upon that idea of you wanting to do something and you not taking the step because you feel societal pressures, you feel pressures from people around you, you wonder how it's going to be, you wonder how hard it's going to be, as well as what your friends are going to think, what your parents are going to think.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, one of the hardest realizations I've had to come to as a young adult, I'm 24 right now, is realizing that school, of course, is a really great tool for your success. But at the end of the day, school isn't life.
It's not. And
Yeah.
it's going along with what you just said. I had a conversation with someone earlier this week, and just because you're educated, that doesn't mean that you're smart. Like, yeah, you may know some facts, but when it comes to, common sense and it comes to, real life skills, there's just some things you have to get your hands dirty in order to learn.
Hey, shut the fuck up. Hey, sit down. Yeah, I agree completely. Sorry, Ted's going off right now. And what's really important in what he said is that basically you have to understand that you're going to continue to grow and that your education doesn't mean that you're going to excel at life. You have to continue to find reason and find rhyme to learn and benefit yourself and continue to grow. That's why it's called the ladder of success. That's why we continue to work on these things so that I'm not going to be someone, a public speaker that makes $10,000, $20,000 per speaking gig right off the bat.
Yep.
How do I get there? How do I succeed? It's a ladder of success. I have to start small. I have to start speaking gigs. I have to work events. You have to find what rungs on the ladder are really going to take you to the position that you want to be in and to find those steps so you can start taking them.
And one of the things that I feel like you have to do is you have to learn a lesson each day. If you learn something each day, then you are going to accomplish so much because
Ted,
you're building
go
your.
over there.
Um, but I think to come back, Nick, and think like a beginner with each thing that you do. Look at it as what can I learn? What questions can I ask? And figure it out. That's
Go.
what life's all about, man.
I agree. And one of the hardest things you have to do is Gary Vee preaches about it and many other people, but you have to find out what the fuck you want to do. And the sooner you find out, the better. And that's not an easy task to do. No,
But Nick,
I
like,
still don't know what I want to do completely.
what do you say to
But
someone?
that doesn't.
What do you say to someone who they don't know? Like,
Ted,
how would you
get on the bed.
suggest that they find their purpose or their passion?
Well, experience things, try things, and like I've been in my head. I've felt anxiety. I've felt pressured to find these things as well, and I know that sometimes people feel this way. The important thing is that you actually have to try to find that thing because you don't know what it is.
Yep.
Experience, read, go online, go out into the world, go hiking, find little things that you're like, oh, this might lead to something that I could really do. Because any right now, honestly, you can do anything, anything you want, and find a way to make money off of it.
And it's just taking that first step, man. Just take that step. Whatever it is, like whatever you want to do, because after you do it, it's going to be one of the most creative periods of your life. You start redeveloping different skills. You're rewiring yourself, if you will.
Yeah, completely. I one of the crazy things that is that I try to. It's hard to give advice and then follow it the
Yep.
same ones that you've already given. I think that's like a contradiction that almost everyone has, and is that you give really good advice to your friends, but you can't follow that same advice sometimes. So, but one of the things is I used to teach my students that I would coach in cheerleading the ladder of success is that when you're trying to obtain something, you have a goal, and all they see is this goal. They see this end line. They see this finish line of something that they want to accomplish, and they just seem so overwhelmingly unable to reach. So out, like imagine you're on the edge of a dock and you're trying like almost Great Gatsby vibes. You're on the edge of the dock trying to reach the green light across the bay, and you can't do anything. It's just flashing over there.
Yep.
It's just the future. It's something that you believe is unattainable. But what you have to realize is that if you're there, someone's done it before probably, and if not, at the same time, you have to realize what steps, what's eventually going to allow me to build these building blocks up so that I can reach the platform that I'm trying to go to.
And I think it's
And
really
that's what I
important.
tell my students. It's like, okay, so you want to get this skill. How are we going to break it down and realize that the steps we're taking are going to allow us to get there? Because that's what people almost harbor on so much is that they don't think they're making the accomplishments. They don't think they're taking steps to be successful, to climb this ladder of success, if you will. And they get so caught up in trying to reach that goal at the end of the day when the most important thing is you can live in the moment and realize the things that you're doing.
Yeah, 100%, man. You got to get out of the common metric of what you think success
Sit
is.
down.
You know,
Hey, sit down.
because like most people think success is money and power and fame and stuff like
Sit
that,
down.
but it could be so much more.
Uh,
It could just be, being, it could be wisdom, it could be, you know, travel, it could be whatever you want. Happiness
yeah,
is in the eye of the beholder, and so is success.
yeah, completely. I think that it's really, really interesting as well. Is that when you look into like people that have succeeded, have done these things. Ted, what are you doing, bud?
Nick, you got a buddy up there.
When you have look at these people that have succeeded and done these things. Yeah, I have my family's dog Ted. He's our biggest guard dog, and he just wants to whine and bark at everything. But he's great. He's just looking outside at some chickens right now. But the people that have done these things, the people that have really succeeded in life, what you see is that they've trusted the process what they've been in and continually tried to climb this ladder of success, if you will, and done it step by step, allowing them to really see the journey that they've been on and keep pushing forward, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on, Ted. Come on. Come on. Oh, sorry. I just let Ted out. Oh,
You're good, man. Um,
oh
but one of the things I think is important, man, like to understand too, is everyone's ladder that they climb is different. It's one of those things where it requires you to take your own journey. It requires you to branch out and just work on you for a little while. And sometimes
yeah,
that's the hardest thing for people to understand because they like to compare themselves to these other people. And don't get me wrong, it's always good to have role models. It's good to have people that you acknowledge. But at
yeah,
the same time, you need to realize like your journey is going to be unique to you.
yeah. I think exactly. And that's if you take a step back, and again, we talked about finding out what you want to do. If you take a step back and also realize who you want to become, what are the things you want to accomplish? What are the things that you are looking to be in the future? And that's a hard thing to really define or put into words. But if you can write that down on paper, if you can come up with a list of things that you want to accomplish slash be, that's the first step. Again, like you said, now you've started. But what is it going to take to get to those points? And everyone has their own journey. Everyone has ridiculously different journeys that they're going to go on to get to where they want to become. But I think that Peter Duncan put it in a really great way, and he was talking about Jordan Peterson. He said it's so important that we take steps to move farther away from our impractical self and less towards a perfect image of what we want to be. So if I define
Get
myself
beyond the
again
ego, man. Get
that
beyond the ego and the
I
process.
want to be a great public speaker, yeah. Well, if I define myself as I want to become a great public speaker, just an example. So, what moves can I take to move further away from being not a public speaker? What can I do? So, I'm gonna allocate my time to watching speeches. I'm gonna allocate my time to writing. I'm gonna actually speak. I'm gonna do more podcasts. I'm gonna go out and hold events and different things like that. That means I'm moving further from my practical self, someone who sits around and plays video games and wastes my life away, and I'm moving closer towards that goal instead of being a perfect public speaker because someone that's something you can never obtain,
Yeah.
and that's it's harboring almost anxiety and some like a whole bunch of anxious thoughts that you don't need.
Yep.
Move further away from an impractical self, and that's how you're going to get closer to what you want to become. I think that's a really great way to put it too, on the other side of the ladder of
But how do
success.
you do that, Nick? How do you do that? How do you stay true to that vision, stay true to your why?
That's a really good question. And the important thing is in that sense is being self actualized. So being able to take a step back and realize where you are in life, what you're doing at that moment, what actions you're taking, and being very truthful to that. One thing that I really want to jump into, which this leads perfectly into, is how do you become a good leader? How what is represented in a great leader slash team, whatever component you want to be there, someone that just leads and is a great example. And this is a great into that. If you look at people that are great leaders, what they do is they admit their faults and they realize what they're doing and they move forward from it.
Yep. Yes, they do.
So, exactly. So in the same sense, what would you think is a good leader, and how does this correlate to almost the ladder of success that we're talking about?
I think a good leader is someone that's going to they're going to be able to be different. They're going to be able to talk and outreach to many different people, whether it's ethnicity, religion. Like I think being very personable is a good definition of a leader. But also you have to be one of those people who you do what you say and you have confidence in yourself because people feel themselves on confidence.
Yeah.
People are attracted to confidence. Um, and another thing too, if you want to be a good leader, man, you cannot be scared to fail because you're going to fail over and over again.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I agree. And that's so important. I think that what he's saying is correct, and that honestly, the further like one of the things that I've come to realize again as I've started to grow older is that the wheels and cogs in human civilization turn through interaction between others and turn between trying to make someone else's life easier or better.
Hmm.
That's how people succeed.
Yes.
That's all it is. You can do what you want, make yourself happy, but to be truly successful and probably and mostly business and doing different other things, what you're gonna have to do is help others. What you're gonna have to do is benefit others. So how are you gonna continue to grow yourself on this path to success in a way that's gonna allow other people to succeed so you can build a team of successful people and you're all growing.
But think about
I
what
think
you
that's
just
another.
said, man. It's about a team of individuals. Like I feel like when you base your decisions on like instead of looking at it as what's in it for me, look at it as how can you serve or how can you help. And when you come from a place of gratitude and you come from a place of giving, it's one of the most powerful forms of just like human emotion because you got to give to get, man. You have to.
Well, I mean, if you like right now, like I'm a server at a restaurant, and it's a pretty good gig. I'm not making too bad of money,
Yep.
but I'm making money. But one of the things that I said in last week's podcast, I'm gratified but never satisfied. I'm very grateful for the opportunities I have. I'm very grateful for the people I have in my life, but I'm not satisfied with where I am. I'm not satisfied with the things I'm doing. I always want to be doing better. And by having that attitude that I'm so grateful to be where I am at the moment, living the life I have, because it could be so much worse. But understanding that this ain't nothing and that I'm going to be building the brightest future that I possibly can by making the moves that I talked about it in the past. I'm doing things right now so that future Nick will be proud of the things that I'm doing right now. Look back and be like, damn right, that's what I'm talking about, kid.
I mean, think about these successful
And
people, Nick. Think about it.
what's important is that process. What were you going to say?
Think about like Steve Jobs. He started Apple at
Mm-hmm.
20 in his garage. 10 years later, Nick, $10 million. And you know what was crazy is he got fired after that because his viewpoints were a little bit different and he had a different vision. And then, do you know what he did? He started over. He created Pixar. He created companies like Next. And it's just crazy because what he accomplished at 20, he stayed true to that vision, man, like what he wanted out of his company and became one of the most successful people in history.
Yeah, yeah. But if you look at like people that have really defined today's society and how they've led and the things that they've accomplished, Steve Jobs, like again, not saying the things that their overall lives. I'm just talking about the successes they've had
Yep.
in business and the actual lives they're living. Jeff Bezos, Steve Jobs,
Warren Buffett, man, Warren Buffett is
Gary
one of my
Vaynerchuk,
favorites.
anyone that's been really, really successful, and Warren Buffett.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Warren Buffett.
yeah. These
Him, Dave
people,
Ramsey, you know.
these people saw a need for something in society, and they acted upon it in their own ingenious way. And it takes that crazy mindset that I believe that this is gonna be something great, and really working towards it to really change something, to change the world. But it also takes, like, I could walk outside today and wave my neighbor, and that changes the world. That changes something. Every little action you take has an effect on someone, and whether it be bad or good. And this is a really great thing I saw recently, but I'm gonna start saying it more often. It's not just have a great day; it's have a day you deserve.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Say it again.
Have a
Say it again.
have a day you deserve. Because again, I'm gonna be gratified but never satisfied. So I'm gonna be happy go lucky. I'm gonna be doing the best I can. Shit's gonna happen. I've been emotional as fuck all week.
Yep.
Emotional as fuck because I just haven't been able to hang out with. I mean, I'm in North Georgia. I'm not near too many people. I'm not hanging out with all my friends that I want to. Coronavirus is going down. I'm not making the best moves upon my success, but I'm still moving. I'm still in the process. But what I'm realizing is that it takes time, it takes patience, and I am climbing this ladder of success. But I have to be patient with what I'm doing. And that's something so important to realize.
Hey, man. And just remember, Nick, it's better to be at the bottom of the ladder you want to climb than at the top of the one you don't.
That you when you literally hit me with that quote last week, right?
Yeah.
That was wild. Say that again. Say that shit one more time.
It's better to be at the bottom of the ladder you want to climb than to be at the top of the one you don't. I mean, think about that for a second. Like, we spend our
Woo,
time on so many different
woo.
aspects of life. Like, if you want to be something, you want to accomplish these goals, you want to own your own company, you want to get out of debt, like, put your time and energy towards that.
Yeah. One of the things that I've come across to realize too is that if you take a step back and look at these people we've been talking about, Warren Buffett, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, all these successful people, whatever they're doing, you have to realize that they're not gods. They aren't that different from you. They are human. They make decisions. They mess up. They all do these things, but they found the way to do it right in a way that made them a lot of money.
And
And
they stepped on opportunity,
it's
man.
putting your time and attention towards the things that you think are going to be successful.
Yeah. And that's what's crazy, man. The ladder of success is best climbed on the rings of opportunity. And they took the opportunity. When that door opened, man, they stepped through.
Woo! The ladder of success.
Yeah. Ladder of success.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what it's about. I think that everyone has. There are so many doors that open up in their lives that they never know what it will lead to or not. And right now, like I'm on a path where I'm trying to find a mentor, a job in the market that I want, and doing all these things. And that's a very scary position because at the end of the day, it's not near my family. It's not going to be near. It's it's very out of my comfort zone to be doing what I want to accomplish. Yeah, I'm gonna have to move probably states. I'm I'm gonna have to be in a whole new environment where I probably won't have that many friends nearby. So I have to make new friends. And that's a very scary realization to sit back and be like, wow, I'm gonna throw myself into this.
But think, man.
But
But think about it, Nick. Like, if you need to bring out your highest self, like your best self, you've got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, you know? That's something that you and I, we talk about a lot. And
oh yeah,
we got to we just have to ask ourselves those hard questions. You know, why, like, am I getting comfortable? Like, how, what tactics can I use to continue to better myself, to continue to progress? Because that's what the ladder of success is, man. It's, think about a ladder. You have to always climb up a rung. It's progression. Each one you have to take a step up.
yeah. I'm in the middle of a podcast. Sorry, you're just yelling. Would you say that one more time?
Uh, sorry,
Y'all, everything is interrupting me today.
I'm like, ah, goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Honestly,
Woo.
honestly, we can cut up bits and pieces of it, but it'd be okay. Uh,
No, dude, this is listen, this
yeah,
is real life. They need to y'all listeners, this is real life and it's nothing else. There's no cut up, there's no cut and dry. Y'all have real life too. I got dogs. I live on basically a farm on the side of a mountain with chickens, goats, people. I have people in and out of the house. But like that's ain't no one want to hear a lie.
no,
This is the way life is. A lot of things come and go. People interrupt things, but we got to continue to push these things. You're talking about me getting outside your comfort zone and doing these things. This is not my comfort. Like literally, I would like I like a dark room or like a room by itself to have like a whole studio. But at the end of the day, we're building something.
yeah,
Me and you right here. We're building our repertoire. We're building our success. And that takes time. And like that's the realness of it. It's hard to get peace and quiet. It's hard to do different things. You're sitting on your front porch right now, aren't you?
yep, yep. My tiny house, man.
Yeah.
That was
You got
one of the biggest sacrifices I had to make, bro. But it's been so rewarding, so
yeah,
rewarding. And most of the time, man,
but you're
the biggest,
utterly happy.
yes, yes, love it, man. Out in the country, like it's nice. My dog can roam. Like I can just sit outside. I have a creek. It's right beside. It's nice.
Yeah.
But you know, that's one of the things though is we were talking about getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. And Nick, I got to ask you a question. Why do you think societal standards play such an important role in people getting like that, being
Well, being comfortable in these things, like it's again like just exactly what I was talking about is like I think there's two factors. If I'm gonna put it in my perspective right now because of the moves that I'm trying to make and the things that I'm and why I feel uncomfortable and I get anxiety about these things. Like I want to get into a marketing sales position and end up doing really really well and end up moving forward in a business that ends up helping the doors and doing different things like that. It's probably gonna be in a different state. It's probably gonna be across the country. Number one, I feel like I feel anxiety and I feel pressured into this comfort zone because number one, I want to succeed. With realize that that comes from learning from your failures and not giving up and continuing to become better self. Also, you don't want to let down the people around you. At the end of the day, you have to realize that this is your fucking life, your life, not anyone else's.
it's
And
my
as
life, and it's now or never.
exactly. Exactly. And
You
what's
got
important is that you like I used to ask for so much advice in different things from relationships to decisions I should make. And what you have to realize is that you're the you're the master of your ship.
yeah,
You're the captain of your own sea. And that you have to take the reins of that helm of this boat that you're traveling on this wavy sea. There's a storm in front of you. But are you going to sit there and crash? Or are you going to keep going? And that's
exactly.
hard. That's a very hard thing to realize because I've up and moved before. When I was 18, I moved by myself to Florida with what I had in my car, and I lived. I did it. I did it
Yeah,
for a year. I survived, and then I went to college. But like that upheaval, that forward movement, the ladder of success, if you will, is fucking scary, but it sometimes leads to the most beautiful outcomes. I think that I've been guided in a very generous direction of my life and being able to have the people I've had in it, the things I've been able to do. And sometimes it's gonna take that upheaval. Like I know like that I'm gonna end up doing another one of these upheavals and moving probably to a different state, getting a new job around people I don't know, and it's gonna be very scary.
yeah.
But it's also gonna lead to something awesome. And I'm geeked about that.
That's well, Matthew McConaughey talks about those 21-day fixes he does, where he goes and
Yep,
he
the
lives in a different
walkabouts.
country. Yeah, he goes, he lives in a different country and lives their culture for a little while, just to kind of disconnect. And his book Greenlight is coming out on October 20th. So if you guys get the
I'm
chance,
excited about that.
I'm excited for it to come out. Uh, but it's interesting because when you think about it, we live in the U.S., so it's not near as bad. I personally don't think as someone living in a distant country who's not so popular or not so you know financially,
Not as
yeah,
media
media
driven.
driven, yeah, because honestly, I kind of envy them a bit because they're disconnected a little bit. It's not so
Yeah.
much as we're on our phones 24/7. Have you ever looked when you go out in a restaurant of how many people are just on their phones? And you're a server, Nick, so you can probably answer
Well, yeah.
pretty.
I mean, I had that realization. Yeah, I mean, they're always on their phones. I mean, a lot of them aren't because luckily they spend a lot of like they are and they aren't, and it's but people do spend a lot of time on their phones. I recommend you going into your phone. And most iPhone users have. I think iPhone users have an app or a thing in their on their phone. It talks about screen time, and that goes over how much time you've been on your phone a day on average per week. I want you to go look and see how much that is
Well,
because it surprised
I
me.
know this is coming, Nick. So how would you answer this question? Well, if I'm not going to be on my phone, what should I do? What do you recommend?
I mean, that totally is up to the situation you're in. But allocating your time to things that are going to benefit you, continue to move you forward, is never a bad thing. I understand rest and relaxation. I understand following and doing the things that make you happy. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm saying if you're wasting time on something you don't need to be wasting it on, reallocate it to something that's going to help you. I've been reallocating my time to reading. I've been reallocating my time to working out and listening to podcasts at the same time. So I'm learning and getting physically fit. I'm reallocating my time to spend more time on LinkedIn connecting with high up business owners and sales opportunists than rather being on Instagram and Facebook for my whole time. I talked about it last week where I literally will listen to a podcast and I'll go and add that person on LinkedIn and I'll say, "Hey, I really really loved what you said here. It's a fantastic viewpoint and it really changed the way I thought about sales, business, marketing, whatever it is. I'd love to connect and continue to learn from you." And I've connected with 7 to 8 leaders of industry. And what this is going to do over time is this reallocation of my time and how I'm going to use it through LinkedIn because that's a place where successful people huddle around. It's the water fountain. It's the online water fountain for business. And what's important is as I do this, if I continue to build up this repertoire of people that are very influential in today's society, it's going to build a huge circle of influence for me. So I think that's another key aspect to defining how you're successful. How are you building your circle of influence to where you know it's going to put you in a place where you can be successful? That's a huge part of the ladder of success.
Yep.
That's a foundation almost.
And you got to have that good foundation, man. If you don't, what happens,
Yeah,
Nick? What happens?
you're gonna crawl and you're gonna fall. Okay, we're gonna end this soon, but I have a question for you. So if you had to give someone either an example or the best tip you could for really understanding whatever you want to do about the ladder of success, what would it be?
I would definitely say, Nick, that this is a tough question, and I'm gonna be blunt. I'm gonna be honest. I think honestly, it's got to be just take the step, man. Just take the step because a lot of
Yeah,
people, man, are just they're so
begin the journey.
yeah. Just begin it, start. And if you're already one of those who've started it, just think like a beginner, man. Think like a beginner. Learn something each and every day. Constant and never ending progression.
Mm,
That's the ladder of
mm.
success. Constant and never ending progression.
I like that. Mine, mine would be to be as truthful and real you could be with yourself and the actions you're taking.
I love it. I love it.
Don't let your ego or other people ever cloud your mind with the things you're doing are not you, not who you are. The journey you're taking is the wrong one. If you are self actualized enough to realize that you're being truthful to what you're doing and trying to make these moves, don't let anything or anyone ever stop you.
All right, guys. It was awesome having you on
Yeah.
today. Remember, you can only climb as high as you want. You got to have those expectations. Everyone's got that different ladder. Don't forget, have that
Yeah.
good foundation, guys, because it's really important for you guys to continue to build. As always, we are the developers of our own opportunities, reinforcing success. I'm Zachary Otts.
I'm Nicholas Sternloff.
Have a blessed day.
Peace. 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 Peace.